Hello there. I'm Linda Schiller Hanna, and this is Inner Kid Keto. This is number 47 in a series of talks, inspirational messages to accompany any of you on your weight loss journey as you also use a keto diet. Now, you can use any kind of food plan. I just happen to have found that keto was one that really powerfully works for me. You're welcome no matter how you're eating or how you're not eating. Or if you're just full on into the food, that's okay. You're still welcome here. I am doing a daily message for a whole year, 7 days a week. I know that's crazy, but I do crazy pretty well, at least up until now. So, why me? Why you? Why here? Me, because I'm almost 77 and I've had a lifelong struggle and an emotionally complex relationship with food. Not healthy, not neutral, basically traumatized. I don't know if I ever had a normal, quiet, restful day about the topic of food. Every single day has some drama with it. That's just telling it how it is. I don't know how that is in your life, but let's take a moment of silence and let's just get still for a second. Maybe take a little breath. And ignore my barking dog because I have no control over her. Sorry about that. So we're just going to ask for a number on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being highly traumatic and 0 being totally neutral. What is your normal number that comes to mind when you think about the issues of food in your own personal life? Am I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? As I went through those numbers, one of them might have lit up for you, had a little ping. Like maybe I'm a 6, maybe I'm a 2, maybe I'm neutral. Chances are, if you're neutral, if you're 0, no vibration of trauma, alarm, charge on the topic of food, you have left this room instantly. This is not your home base, and that's okay. God bless you. You're that person. God bless you. For anyone else, come on in. Get comfortable. You may have just found your tribe. I may be part of your tribe. Why would I say that? If you watch some of my other videos in this Inner Kid Keto series, you already know that I went through periods of time where we didn't have food as a kid or very little food. Sometimes I lived in a wealthy home as a nanny and there was way too much, everything I could want. Swimming pool, tennis court, golf, the whole thing. I've had many ups and downs with food. I've been on a cruise where there's so much food you could be sick. I've been in places where 1 can of tuna fish might feed 6 people. Oops, not so comfortable. We don't need to do the trigger words. On another note, I got contacted by an old friend this morning, and he was confiding an issue in his life. And he's only been married a year or 2. He's got a new baby. He has a job. He's been a teacher for a few years. His wife works too. And he said, I'm thinking about going to part-time. I'm kind of burnt out. And I live in an affordable place and we could live tight, but I'm really thinking about taking a few months off, taking a year off. What do you think? What I think is this, dear. That's a setup. I had a wonderful therapist when I was in college, in Solano College in Fairfield, California. And he taught us a lot about setups. And he says setups are where you set up situations to really put yourself in a squeeze so that you grow, you face your issues, you push your own buttons. It's usually done unconsciously. People who come from traumatic backgrounds will often create setups. I used to do all this all the time in my 20s. I would have a decent job as a secretary. I'd have a nice apartment. I'd have a little car. I'd be going on along. One day I'd get mad about something. I'd quit my job with no notice. Just quit. No job was lined up. No savings in the bank. Just walk out. Wow. Didn't have rich parents. Didn't really have a fallback plan. Certainly didn't have a refrigerator full of food. And unfortunately, I want to admit I did that more than once. I set myself up to suffer. And I have a friend who wrote a book called Repetition. Her name is Doris Cohen, Ph.D. Repetition, Past Lives, Life, and Rebirth. An amazing book. Goes deep into this subject. She's a therapist, was one of my therapists, one of the best of my life. She says a lot of us will subconsciously set up situations that re-trigger the old wounds that we had as little kids. Another opportunity to look at it one more way, one more time, one more thing. And when I look back now from the safety of maturity, a house full of food, a loving husband of 29 years, all the things that have created safety in my life, I'm not saying that's impossibly off my J, or that things couldn't go terribly wrong. But overall, I have tremendous security compared to those days. I also have thousands of hours of recovery and thousands of hours of therapy under my belt. And I've stopped setting myself up. I've stopped doing those shoot myself in the foot behaviors, at least at that level. And I'll probably do it in other things if I'm honest. But be careful. Sometimes we will have an internal pressure to just kick everything over. Eye itches. Kick everything over to recreate the dynamics of our childhood trauma. I know enough about this friend that I know he had some childhood trauma. I know that there were some moments of, ooh, the floor dropped out. And my suspicion is this young person is recreating that vibration of, things are going too good. I know it's going to fall apart any minute. Rather than letting it come random, let me just kick out my own basement. Let me just set up my situation so that I'm stressed, my wife is stressed, the baby's stressed, there's money stress. And I have to reconfigure pulling myself together and making it through the next few months or few years. I don't need to go into further detail, but I'm sure you get the idea. So if you can recognize that you yourself have set yourself up for failure, or here I go again, maybe you've had 6 months of sobriety and on the way home you suddenly said, what's a beer? And one walk in and they say once you've had one, if you're an addict or an alcoholic, down the tubes. Got to start all over. Might take months or years to get back into that place. So be very careful not to set yourself up. Notice if you're starting to build for a breakthrough or breakdown. Be in touch with yourself. Take some time out. Maybe learn to meditate, get a yoga class, do some exercise, do some fresh air walking, talk to a grandma, talk to somebody. Don't isolate. These are simple things. These simple tools really do work if we use them. Maybe you want to bake something. In yesterday's program, I discovered and shared with you these Lily chocolate chips. And today, I couldn't help it. They're sugar-free. I had to try them out. And so I adapted a recipe I found on the internet and added the chocolate chips and a couple of other things. And I am going to have the recipe on our website on innerkidketo.com, and the recipe will be Lily Chip Chia Muffins. Chia is a wonderful seed or something, and it really does wonderful things for your body. And we're supposed to be off flour, gluten. What this muffin uses is oatmeal. You take oatmeal and you put it in your blender and let it get real crumbly, and it's like flour. And the oats don't trigger your want mores. They don't trigger the sugar spikes. It's a healthy way to have a muffin without ruining your keto plan. So I'm going to be posting that today. And if you want that recipe, just come to innerkidketo.com and it'll be posted there for you. I'm going to be starting a group too. For those I mentioned yesterday, Pete Walker's book, I'm going to start a group where those who are interested can join me on Zoom to work through Pete Walker's book. The one that, PTSD, that I talked about, the PTSD book. It's in yesterday's message. Okay, there'll be information on the website about that. So, I have not mentioned little Linda in a while. Let's bring little Linda up. She is my alter ego. And I see little Linda, who's got a little pet skunk. Oops, a pet skunk. Doesn't she know that can be dangerous? Is she so innocent that she doesn't realize that holding a skunk could be a setup? She could be skunking her life? No, little Linda. Thank God it's just a toy. You can safely hold this skunk. But those of you out there who haven't got a deodorized skunk need to be careful. Or if there's a part of you that self-sabotages, take a breath, maybe eat a Lily Chip Chia muffin as a nice cup of tea, maybe talk to a friend, maybe sleep on it before you do something as crazy as quitting your job with no backup plan, or have an affair, or run a red light, or swear at a cop. Fill in the blanks. You know how you can mess up your life. Most of us who are in this room know how to mess up our life. Today's message is encouraging you to balance your life, heal your life, and love yourself. Remember our logo. Feed yourself love first. Feed yourself love first. By the way, you matter to me, and I'm so glad you've shown up again today, and I'll be back tomorrow and every day for a whole year. Hopefully, after a year, I'll have said everything I'll ever need to say about keto and self-love. But we could always push on if I just got one more message. But for now, this is message 47 from Linda Schiller Hanna on Inner Kid Keto. You take care of you, and please no self-sabotage, whether it's with your food, with your relationships, with your job, with your self-esteem. Take care of you. God bless. See you tomorrow.